Ravens flock, what's up? It is the Week 5 recap show here on We Bleed Purple podcast. Daniel Wilcox and Matt Trigger. Um, I'm gonna rephrase. I'm gonna say what I said to you on a text message earlier, Wilcox. We were ass cheeks today, not the good kind.
Dang, boy. Was it ass cheeks, but not the good kind.
This is ridiculous, man. I I
Yeah.
had more faith in them in this. This is reaching comedy levels of bad right now.
Well, Matt, just like I said earlier when you sent the text message, when I look at who we are right now as a team, as an organization, it exemplifies exactly what I've said the last 2-3 years. Like, just you see moments of coaching where you just say, bro, it's a coaching thing. Like, you don't play as good as you do all year and have as much momentum as you do all year and play the way this team has played over the last 3 to 4 to 5 years and lose all the big games. When you get to the big games, you get out coached, you get outplayed, and then you come home with a W. I mean, with a L. And to me, this season it exemplifies exactly what I already thought. Coaching is very suspect here. And I'm not saying that Harbaugh is a bad coach or he's an ass cheek ass coach. What I'm saying is that he's hired some guys on the staff that probably don't exemplify what this group needs, or it doesn't bring the type of energy or the chemistry that this team needs in order to make them be the best version of themselves they could be. And I've questioned game plans. We have, week in and week out. Last year, the year before last, on this podcast, we've questioned them. And when you question the game plans and what you're going in and what your idea look like, it's coaching, what you're going to do on first down, what you're going to do on second down, third and fourth downs at any point in time of the game, it just doesn't look adequate to who we are. I mean, the goal line play that Mark Andrews dropped, and you look back a year prior, they ran the same play and it didn't work. The year before that, they ran the same play, the shit didn't work. And it's like you calling the same play every single time. This league is a copycat league. They know what you're going to do. So if you do the same thing every single time you get down there, they're prepared for that play. And that's why the shit got, picked off the year prior. And, I don't know. It's weird, man. So to me, this exemplifies what bad coaching is. When you got great players like the way the Ravens have, and the organization has been notorious for bringing in phenomenal athletes and phenomenal players with great character and high energy, and guys that end up being like Hall of Famer types, superstars, and when your superstars all get injured and they get hurt and the coaching staff really have to coach, to me, this what it looks like, because they just wasn't, they probably haven't coached in years because they're so Lamar is so freaking good. The defense has been so freaking good. The players have been so freaking good. O line, D line, everybody's been, they just been playing at a high caliber and playing with a bunch of emotion and energy for a long time. So when the coaches actually have to coach because they don't have their superstars, this is what it looks like, because
And yeah,
they're not very good coaches.
and let's just kind of go back to Harbaugh's entire reign so far. Um, he got here in 2008.
Yep.
Obviously, that was your last. You played with him your final year. Or you played
True.
for him your final year,
Yep.
and he came in. He was a relatively young head coach, and he was a rookie head coach in the sense that he had never even been a coordinator other than special teams. He had never called a defense or an offense at the professional level a day in his life.
Right.
So then he had Ray, he had Ed, he had Terrell Suggs, he had Yonda, he had Nada, he had Bolden, he had Torrey Smith and Pitta and Flacco and all those guys for all those years that led to the first Super Bowl that he had. And then what happened after he dismantled that team? That team got dismantled because of salary cap purposes, guys getting paid, trading away Bolden, you know, losing Pollard, Ray retiring. From 2013 to 2017, he was a mediocre coach.
Right.
There was some lackluster years in there.
Yeah.
2018 comes along, Lamar revitalizes everything. 2019, Lamar essentially saves his job. You can say he
Mm.
saved it in 2018, but we had a first round playoff exit against the Chargers. But 2019, Lamar comes in and sets the league on fire, has that innovative, high powered offense. And now I said this earlier to Marcus Spears, who you might have played with him here. in Baltimore at one point. Um, the Spears was on our team at one point. I think after he left the Cowboys, he
Yeah,
was asking on X who the Ravens should hire as a head coach, and why is Harbaugh such a bad coach. He wanted to ask the fans. So my response was in 2019 to present day, we should be working on our fourth Super Bowl, like we talked about the other night.
correct.
And my evidence is that 2019, everybody said Lamar won a bunch of games with nobodies. Mark Andrews, Willie Snead, Seth Roberts, rookie Mark Andrews, all that. You know, second year Mark Andrews. That's valid.
Correct.
And then in the time that's passed, we have now added DeAndre Hopkins. We've drafted Isaiah Likely. We went and signed Derrick Henry. You know, we brought in OBJ a couple years ago. We brought in Clowney. We brought in all these veterans to help this team.
Correct.
And who is the common denominator that has not changed?
Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh. He has never had anybody on his staff that has challenged him for supremacy in this organization in terms of taking the head coaching job. Back in 2014, when we had Gary Kubiak,
Mm-hmm.
he was a threat. Kubiak won a Super Bowl the next year with Peyton Manning after he left in 2015 when they dominated the Panthers. Now you're looking at all the coaches he's had as offensive coordinator since then, a defensive coordinator, Daniel. Nobody's ever been a threat to his job. And that's where I stand on it. Because
Correct.
the only threat to his job is now in Seattle.
Mike McDonald.
If Mike McDonald would have hung around another year, he'd be the head coach right now.
You think they would fire Harbaugh
They would have,
mid-season?
yeah, they would have fired Harbaugh. But but the thing is, they obviously don't. Obviously, guys like Pagano aren't really in the mix to be head coaches anymore. Because if
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to be a head coach after Indianapolis, he could have. I know he had the health scares and stuff like that,
He did.
and he had to get himself right. But
Right.
the writing is on the wall. Zach Orr is not going to be the defensive coordinator come the bye week. If he doesn't get fired tonight, it is
Yeah.
a miracle that he gets
Yeah.
to start game planning for the Los Angeles Rams.
Mm.
It's an absolute miracle at this point. And Pagano was brought in here for a reason. We all know what it was. Just like Dean Pease was brought in here last year for a reason.
Right.
With it could very well happen again where Dean Pease comes in, they make Pagano the defensive coordinator, and Zach Orr is without a job. If it's not now, it might be next week. After today's team was a shell of what it should be. Injuries are taking its toll, and you said this since you played here. Next man up.
Yeah.
If he couldn't go, it was you. You know, if Ray couldn't go, it was Bart.
Correct.
If Ed couldn't go, it was Jim Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if Suggs couldn't go, it was JJ.
Correct.
You know, the next man up. If Chris couldn't go, it was Starks or it was Samari or it was whoever. You can name any veteran, legendary player and insert the next man up. Right now, the next man up. We started 5 rookies today. 5.
Yeah.
Lowry started at safety. Martin started at cornerback. Peebles started at defensive tackle, and both of our inside linebackers were rookies. They played Higgins and they played Buchanan. I know Simpson played a good amount of snaps today, but injuries happen to everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say this in a joking manner because you played on this team, but is this team giving you 2007 vibes?
When everybody got hurt?
Yes.
Yeah. 100%. It's like what you don't understand, like from the inside looking out, is the guys behind you are usually pretty freaking good. You know, like, and we know that they're good, and we feel threatened when they're good. If they're good enough, we feel like they're good enough to actually take our position. It's a scary vibe if you're a starter, you know. So it's one of those things that mentally we have to wrap our minds around it as players. When we get injured, the last thing we want to do is be injured. And there's a couple of guys on this team, I'm not 100% sure if they don't want to be injured. They want to get away from this shit right now. They don't want to be a part of this mess. So it's a little bit embarrassing to see us go into M&T Bank with the best fans in the world, with one of the best stadiums in the world, and play the way that we played today. But it's a combination of things, and I can't say this enough, Matt. Like players take on the personalities of the city that they play in, and they also take on the personalities of who their coaches are. So if they don't really vibe with their coaches, it's hard, especially in today's age, because these kids are different. Like these younger kids now, they're different. Like you see this whole stuff we keep talking about with Marlon Humphreys and the podcast stuff, and how these guys are moving and how they out on the community partying after they lose. Like it's a different age, man. They don't think the way we think.
Right.
These kids are so different. They need to have the energy from their coach to push them in the right direction so that they want to play the way that they should play. And it was real simple and cutthroat when I was in the NFL. It was, you do what the coach tell you to do, or you get your ass on a plane and go home. So if you don't play at that level, then your ass won't be playing. And if your ass don't play, then most likely you're on your way to the crib. So we had to put the time and the energy into being our best, and we had to put the time and energy into studying the playbook, and we had to listen to our freaking coach. Mike Westhoff for the Jets. He was my special teams coordinator, and he would tell you straight to your face, "Hey, do what I tell you to do, or your ass will be on your first play home to Atlanta." Like it was quick, bro. Like it was no hesitation. I've seen guys get cut for falling asleep in meetings, and you never see them get picked up by another team again. So to be in the situation where we're in right now and to watch these guys play the way they're playing, this shit is embarrassing. It's an embarrassment to the entire organization. And yeah, the organization is spoiled. Yeah, the fans are spoiled. Hell, the former players are spoiled too. We want to see greatness out of you guys. We want to see nothing less than that. And it's kind of embarrassing. And the way this game started off, you saw the energy from Zay Flowers making people's miss and being elusive, being his old self again, and looking like he was juiced up for this game to try to set the tempo hard and high. And you saw the same thing with Mark
Yeah.
Andrews on his first catch. He got up and he was juiced. You could tell he was hyped. You could tell these guys are taking this shit personal on offensive side of the ball. I don't know what the fuck's going on the defensive side of the ball. It just doesn't. I mean, Houston got the ball first and ran down the field like we wasn't even out there
Right. And that's the thing, man. Like
at home.
I would never in a million years think that anybody on the offensive side of the ball in Baltimore would be questioning what's going on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
Because for 20 years it was the opposite.
And,
And and
which brings up another point.
yeah, I want to bring up this comment. They're coming in like
They coming in quick,
they're
hot,
coming in
and
hot.
like hot fire.
My boy Zach over at Pigtown Sports. All the highest and paid and best players are hurt at the same time. Is it a coincidence or it's a stage sit out? Do you? I mean, will guys sit out like that? I mean, you know
Guys
more
sit out
than
all the time for money. Like, so why wouldn't they sit down and be like, bro, I don't want to play for this dude no more. Like, I'm not playing for this shit. I'm tired of this shit.
do you?
So
Yeah,
yeah, it's possible. Like I said, these guys are different, man. I wouldn't put shit past it. So the fact that he's saying that right now is crazy. It's
Mhm.
crazy. And I don't know if you noticed, he just said CJ Stroud looked like an MVP.
Yeah,
Hey, every week we got somebody looking like MVPs against us. That Detroit game here, I saw 2 MVPs on that damn field.
yeah.
So so I mean, every week there's somebody looking like they're MVP against us. So it's disheartening, man, and I hate it. I hate it for the fans of Baltimore. I hate it for the city of Baltimore. I hate it for the organization. I hate it for the people that work in the front office and all over that building too. That has to walk outside every day with that damn Raven logo on. So right now we just not playing the way we gonna play. I'm coming up to the game for the Rams game, Matt. I can't. I just can't. I just need to see this shit in person for myself. I got to come up for the Rams game. I want to be out there. I want to feel the energy of the stadium. I want to feel the energy of the sideline and how the guys look before the game, how they're running around and stuff. It was great to see Keaton Mitchell on the field today.
Yes, it was.
And
It
I
was.
would love to see more guys that just really want to play this game extremely bad. I
It,
really do.
it's is. Do you think that this is the point now? I know we can kind of. I'm taking it back to the Super Bowl year.
Yeah.
It's a well distributed local myth that there was a mutiny in the players' locker room midway through the 2012 season,
Mm.
later into the 2012 season.
A mutiny.
And when they describe it as that, where the players pretty much put their foot down and said, "We're not dealing with this shit when it comes to John Harbaugh," but the way that they were running practice, the way that they were operating, and just the overall feel of the team. I don't
Yeah,
think there's guys in this locker room that have the balls to do that.
yeah,
I don't see like I've been seeing mutiny on social media for the last 3-4 hours,
right.
and I personally don't believe that the Ravens have anybody in this locker room
Hmm.
short of Lamar Jackson standing up and telling either Bashotti or Eric, like, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah,
And
in order to get some dogs, dog, you got to get some guys that are a little bit of knuckleheads, right? And to understand, like when I say that, you got to get guys that's if they weren't playing football, I don't know what they would be doing. I don't know if they would be in jail. I don't know where they would be. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have some guys like that on your squad, man. That's very edgy, and we had a ton of those guys. I felt like when I played, man. When I just you got guys that was going to stand on business. You got guys that like at the end of the day, these are all grown men. The coaching staff are men and the players are men. There's no kids anymore. It's not like college and not like high school. You can say some shit that may be inappropriate to your head coach or to your coach, your position coach at this level. Yeah, y'all may want to fight each other, but it is what it is. It's man versus man. It's type A versus type A. And in this situation, in order for a man to lead other men, he has to be type A himself.
yeah,
You can't just go in this situation and lead all these damn grown ass men to war and to battle every single day and not think that they're going to try your ass if you get out of line. And I don't know what happened in 2012 because I wasn't on that team, but I could tell you what happened in 2008.
mhm,
I remember that mutiny. I remember us feel like we was being abused and misused and mistreated, by Harbaugh when he first got here and he first got in. And I remember those guys stood up in the meeting and had something to say. I remember it was a couple guys that stood up and had something to say. Ed Reed was one of them. Troy Smith, if I remember correct, was one of them. And he was young at the time, and he still had something to say. Chris McAllister. I think it was Samari Rolle. I remember Frank Walker had something to say to Harbaugh. I remember Double J had something to say to Harbaugh. It was quite a bit. It was quite a bit of guys that 2008, 2009 year, those years that had something to say right off rip. I heard a lot of that stuff had kind of calmed down and guys wasn't going at him as much because he had moved a little bit differently. But I remember being there in the year I came to do the internship. I think it was Mark Andrews' first or second year, and they had Hurst was the other tight end at the time. And what was the other guy, the other tight end, the big fellow we had? Boyles or something like that. I
Nick
can't remember.
Boyles, yeah, Nick
Yeah,
Boyle,
Nick.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was Nick, J, Hurst, and then it was Andrews. I remember those three guys being there, and I remember that year there was a weird thing that kind of happened with Harbaugh on the field that year as well, like in training camp. So this stuff is crazy. He's about Frank Walker had more than words with Harbaugh. Yeah, I mean, I got a Frank Walker story for you. I feel like I need to see if I can get Frank on this podcast. So
Yeah, I wanted to come from Frank. W I
Frank
full
Walker,
disclosure
true Baltimore stories.
full full disclosure, I know the story because 'cause it's been talked about, when the
Yeah,
cameras are not rolling.
right.
You're talking about guys a couple minutes ago, you were mentioning guys that had edge to them.
Yeah,
There's not a Suggs in here.
right.
There's not a Bernard Pollard in here.
Correct.
There's not a Anquan Bolden in here who was essentially a linebacker that could catch. You know,
You can look at that and say that's Harbaugh's doing, but it's
it
not.
is. I mean,
It's not. It's really not, bro. When it comes to players, the head coach don't have nothing to do with who gets selected.
and the thing is, that better than the rest because you worked in the front office. You know that better than the rest, and I'm
I
not saying
mean,
that because we're on this podcast together. You worked there in a capacity to where you could see who was really responsible for the roster, and it is not Harbaugh. He
just
might
think
have
about
input.
think about the head coaches that got fired around the league that needed quarterbacks, and there was quarterbacks to be taken in the draft, and then they didn't draft a quarterback. And I think who's the Pierce? Was it Pierce for the Raiders, the Las
Yeah,
Vegas Raiders, last year, the
yeah.
year before last?
Antonio Pierce. Yep.
Yeah, he just put out a tweet saying, "Man, I needed a running back and a QB when I was the head coach. Now they got both." He was pissed, bro. He
Right.
pissed because he didn't get it. Hugh Douglas, Hugh Jackson didn't get it. He didn't get the quarterback. He didn't get the running back he needed when he was in Cincinnati and he was coaching in the league. He didn't get what he needed. So it's not. It's more of a front office thing. It's a general manager thing. It's a Eric DaCosta. It's a George Cocaine. It's those guys. It's those guys are the ones that go in there to player personnel. They're the ones that find the guys that best fit. And like I told you, the Ravens typecast. They look for guys they feel like will be Raven players and will be the type of guys that fit in this locker room, who personalities make sense. And sometimes it's gonna be an edgy guy, and sometimes it's not. But they have to be the guy that ain't gonna disrupt the locker room and make the locker room, be the bad seed to kind of ruin everybody, right?
Yeah, but it's like most of us that watch this team, I want to say 95% of the Ravens fan base
Mm-hmm.
has been with the team since they got here.
Right.
So
Since
we've
'96. Woo,
It's
that's a long
96.
time.
It's a real long time. I can't ever remember a Ravens team being this mentally weak. It
Damn.
seemed it, and I'm saying that because
Is it the players though, Matt?
I think it's a reflection of the coach. He has no confidence right now.
Yeah.
You can see his body language. You can see Orr's body language. He's not
Right.
jumping around the sideline anymore. He's not hyping his guys up anymore. It's these guys. They're feeling that heat under their seat right now.
They say when you lose games, it shows who you really are, though.
Right.
When you
And
when you win, anybody could be awesome. Anybody could be amazing. Anybody could say today's a great day, man.
right.
When you're winning, but when you're losing, can you still have that same energy? Can you still keep that same energy?
Two things to go along with the point of what I'm trying to say. Right now, the Ravens are on pace to give up 600 points this year.
Damn.
They have given up 35 points 4 out of 5 games this year.
Did you see the stat about the 2000 Ravens defense?
Yeah,
Did,
they've
did you send me that? Well, you
yeah,
gonna send me that? Yeah,
yeah. I sent you that.
yeah. The whole
They
season they gave up 198 points. In the
and
last 3 games, the Ravens gave up 193.
yeah, the Ravens have given up more points this year on defense
That's
than the
crazy.
2000 team. Now it's unfair to compare the greatest defense of all time to this shit show, but
Is it though?
it's the same. It's the same franchise. And on
Mm,
top of all that, if
yeah.
the NFL season ended today, we have the number 3 overall pick. The last time we picked in the top 5 was our
First
first
year.
year in football.
Yeah. Which
When
was only
we
because you
selected
lose Shane
Jo
Falco.
at 4.
Yeah.
We haven't we're constantly picking late. And honestly, I'm so torn right now as a Ravens fan. Do I want to see us bounce back against the Rams? Part of me says absolutely. But part of me is like 1-5, people get fired.
Yeah.
This season might be a wash and we get a top 5 pick next year
Hmm.
in the draft and we have a chance to get one of them dog offensive linemen from the SEC, or we have a chance to get, you know, one of them guys from Clemson, one of them defensive tackles they got down there, and it's like I'm gonna drive myself crazy because watching this team it's physically sickening to watch this dude, John Harbaugh, stand in front of a fucking microphone after the game is over, and he literally said today, Daniel, I
What'd he
didn't think
say?
we were gonna play this bad. What? That's all you got?
But he thought we was gonna play bad, just not that bad.
Yeah, he was like, I didn't think we were gonna play this bad, dude. What are you doing? What like
Yeah.
where is
The
the
enthusiasm.
accountability? He
Do
and
you do you tell me this? Do you think after the Super Bowl he just got comfortable? He just relaxed?
yes, he's coasting on a Super Bowl win from 13 years ago.
Really?
Yes,
Because I heard you break down some of the years earlier, and it sounded like to me like it just consistently got worse after the Super Bowl. Like
it
he won the
did.
Super Bowl, he was like, "I did something my dad ain't never did, and did something my brother ain't never did. I got a Super Bowl ring. I'm good now."
And
You think you think this?
he's won 78% of his regular season games with Lamar starting for him. So when
Yeah,
your win percentage is near 80%,
you still ain't won a playoff or a Super Bowl game.
but it's now we're going on a dozen years since you've
Yeah,
made it to the Super Bowl. If Lamar Jackson doesn't make the Super Bowl here with this
yeah,
kind of team,
yeah,
he is wasting Lamar Jackson's prime years.
yeah. I mean, it's prime right now. The last 2-3 years he should have won already. But I'm looking at I think it was Ocho. And he was talking about it today, Emmanuel Ocho, and
Mhm.
he was talking about the Ravens have gotten away from who their identity is. And I was really was trying to sit down and dissect that. Like, is he right? Like, because they built this team around Lamar supposedly, right? So they went and they've drafted an O lineman, another O lineman, and they've drafted Zay Flowers, and then they drafted Bateman. He just started talking about all the guys they starting to draft now, and they used to only draft like top defensive guys in the first pick overall. And I'm like, maybe it's some truth to that. I got to really do some research to really kind of look at that, to kind of to see if that's all that does that really add up and make sense, because they went so defensive heavy all the time. Your Terrell Suggs, all those type of guys they would bring in every single year. And even when I was here, they drafted they missed on some defensive guys too now. They drafted some defensive guys early and that didn't last, that didn't make it, so I would like to see.
Yeah, it's almost disrespectful to this fan base to not make any necessary changes in the coming weeks. If
Mhm.
if Zach Orr remains the defensive coordinator the rest of the year, even though some of the
I
people that
don't
have been
think that's
talking,
gonna happen. I don't see that
I
happening.
don't either.
I
But
told you last year, Matt, they was
yeah,
gonna use him as a scapegoat.
oh yeah, you did. But you thought they were going to use him as a scapegoat last year.
If they kept losing, if they lost and they didn't make what they needed to make, I think they were gonna use him as a
Yeah,
scapegoat. This year it's turned out to look like more like what I thought last year was gonna be like for a second.
and
You know?
and not only that, in the media, Harbaugh's been leaning on Monken's play calling and scheme, and has really been kind of mum on Zach Orr. So if I'm reading the tarot cards correctly, he might be setting up a situation where he gets Monken out the door.
I mean, I be getting monkey ass up out of here too right now. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I was Harbaugh, both of my OC and my DC got to go. I'll be trying to, in order to fix this thing the right way, they both got to go. I'm fixing everything.
Yeah, it's tough to
True,
see.
true. They did draft Starks. They did over offensive lineman.
Yeah, and that's glaring.
Mm-hmm.
Like today's problem wasn't even the offensive line. You're going out there knowing that the Texans were going to do everything they could to stop Derrick Henry, which they did. Because Derrick Henry, whether he's been wearing a Ravens uniform or a Titans uniform, has been tearing them up on a regular basis his entire career.
Yeah.
And he's single-handedly taken over games against Houston, no matter what jersey he's got on.
Hmm.
I the backup quarterback position, after that second interception today, Tyler Huntley should have been in the game. We paid a lot of money for Cooper Rush. We gave him a 2-year contract for $10 million.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be if you're getting paid that kind of money, Daniel, when you step in, you're supposed to be at least somewhat competent and ready to go.
So what do you consider a lot of money for a backup quarterback, though?
I mean, anything over $3-4 million, and he's at 5. I mean, today's NFL, that might not be a lot,
Yeah.
but look at what the Ravens have been operating with a backup quarterback for years. For the
Yeah.
longest time, it was Snoop,
Why did they
or
get rid of Snoop in the first place? What did he do wrong?
he wanted a chance to start.
Got you. So he asked out.
Yeah, he pretty much said, like, I'm trying to go win a
Mm.
starting job. That's why he went to Cleveland. And it never worked out, obviously. And
Nothing's ever gonna work out in Cleveland.
yeah,
They got to change their front office. They got to change their head coach. I mean, their owner. They got to change everything for it to work out in Cleveland. Cleveland sucks.
and the thing is, I know that we have disagreed with this, but I'll stand on it.
Yeah.
Shador Sanders would have won the game today. If we would have had Shador backing up Lamar Jackson, we would have had a more athletic, more versatile, and capable QB to mitigate the disaster of an offensive line we have.
I'm not disagreeing that Shador would have won the game for us. What I'm disagreeing on is him coming here would have been the best move for him, because I do think he's truly a franchise quarterback. I could be wrong, but what I watched over the last 3-4 years of him playing college football, and he didn't miss a game, until he got, I think he got hurt at one point where he did miss a couple games. But besides that, kid started every game for 4 or 5 years straight in college, and for 2 different schools, and balled out week in and week out was very, very consistent in who he was as a player and won all types of awards. Everything about that kid said he was going to be a franchise quarterback. So him coming here and sitting behind Lamar Jackson, I don't know if that was the best thing for him.
Yeah. This comment right here, Trey Lance was out there. I mean, he was a number 3 overall pick a couple years ago, and he's been
Yeah,
bouncing around the league.
yeah,
I think he's on his 3rd or 4th stop now. But
yeah. I don't know about Trey Lance either. Like he ain't. I haven't seen shit out of that kid. Have you?
I not really.
Yeah, I
Um,
wouldn't. He wouldn't. He ain't somebody I would have brought in for the Ravens. I
but
would. To me, I'd have went and got Cam Newton before I went and got Trey Lance. Like that's how I feel about it.
yeah, I mean,
I'm serious. I'm dead ass.
I remember
Like
Cam beat us a couple years ago in New England.
yeah. I'm like
Yeah,
Cam. What would it take for you to come be our backup quarterback?
yeah.
And would you be interested in it? I guarantee you, he'd be like, hell yeah, I'm on my way. Shit, on the first flight out. And he would have been a hell of a backup quarterback. In any scheme that I think we have right now. To me, as an OC, you have to understand what your players are really, really good at and put them in positions to be great at those things. Like every time I see him run like a toss sweep with Derrick Henry, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are you running a toss sweep with the best downhill runner in the league? Nobody wants to tackle this man if you get ahead of steam going forward, but you're going to run him to the sideline where anybody could tackle him? You know, it don't even make sense. Look at Drew talking about the whole team is ass. So it's just so me in my mind, I'm watching these games and I'm not excited about what we're doing offensively right now. And then I've had some games, I'm like, all right, Monkey, you did your damn thing. You called a great game, and I try to give them props on those games. I really did, because you can't beat somebody down all the time, but then try to build them up and then not build them up when they do something good. So when he had games, I feel like the game plan was really good. I said something. We had a really good game plan, boy. We put some damn points up on this game. The Buffalo Bills game, I thought it was a really good game plan,
Mhm.
pretty much until that second half. He just started to, I don't know what we started doing the second half, but that first half, I mean, he killed it. That was a hell of a freaking game plan. And the third quarter was a hell of a game plan. The fourth quarter was all Lamar. It wasn't anything that he did spectacular calling, because I'm scratching my head like, what we doing? He had some moments in that game where I felt like he should have been giving the ball to Derrick Henry more too. So inside zone, outside zone runs for Derrick Henry, no brainers. Toss sweeps absolutely makes no freaking sense to me.
It's almost like they ran one toss sweep with Derrick Henry
Mm-hmm.
where he broke a long touchdown run,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh, this guy can do that every single time." Running a toss sweep with Pat Ricard in front of you is
Yeah.
a whole lot different
Yeah.
than running a toss sweep with Charlie Kohler or Mitchell Payton in front of you.
Right.
And then when you got 77 who can't block anybody
Yeah.
consistently
Yeah. For
on a
lately.
pull,
Yeah.
good God Almighty!
I
Like this,
I don't know.
I didn't even get mad. I didn't yell at the TV today. I was just praying to God that it wasn't a shit show, and it was a shit show by all accounts.
Yeah.
We lost 44-10. They were one shoestring tackle away from putting up a 50 burger on us in the bank.
I've never seen anything like that, Matt. Like, I don't know what that shit is. Like, I've never seen anything like that. Like, I mean, 44-10. Like, what we doing?
This is true. Now that's true. What Tim just commented. Jay Alexander said that Malachi Starks was the one communicating the defense to everybody, but Teddy Buchanan is wearing the green dot.
Hmm?
Yeah. These dudes don't know what's going on. And it is obvious. Today alone, Mark Andrews zapped out on the sideline. Zay Flowers zapped out at John Harbaugh a little bit. And Andrews zapped out after he bobbled that catch and it popped up into the safety's hands.
Yeah, but
You know,
as fucking
that's your guy, though. That's your guy.
yeah, Andrews, boy. I mean, you
Eventually, you
talking
got to
about.
stop making excuses.
I mean, I'm just saying, like you talk, like the play that happened with Andrews today. That's happened to me before. It wasn't as many times as that. It was a really low throw. I went down, I caught it on my fingertips, and I went to try to snag it and bring it back up, and the ball flies out and it ended up getting picked off, actually by the Redskins, who's now the Commanders. But I can't remember if it was a preseason or a regular season game, but it only happened to me one time in my career, so I know how that feels. It doesn't feel good to be a part of that. his catch was different from mine. Like it was a very poorly thrown ball by your boy Seven, and
Yeah.
I went down to go get it, and I'm strong hands, and I got it just on the tip of my fingers, and I was trying to pull it back up from low, and it fling out of my hand. And I think what's his name, the DB that used to play for the Redskins, Swoop or something like that.
Smoot,
Can't
Fred
remember.
Smoot.
Smoot, yeah,
Yeah,
Smoot
Fred
was the
Smoot.
one I
Yeah.
think picked it off. And it was one of those pivot routes where you just run over the ball, sit down, and he threw it
Mhm.
really, really low. And I tried to go down to get it, and I caught it some kind of way. He threw it hard, as I'm talking about, like rocket hard, like I'm right in front of him, and it was low. So I mean, I know how that feels. It doesn't feel good to be in that situation. And
Thank you for not saying his name.
who 7?
Yeah. He can just remain 7.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a wasn't a very good throw, but it wasn't a good play by me. It was an embarrassing play by me. I didn't like the way that felt. So I feel bad for Andrews, in that situation. But I mean, it is what it is, bro. Like you win some, you lose some. Shake that shit off, keep going. I love his energy today. He did try to play with high energy, and he tried to get the team a spark. And that's what you want, man. It's just you playing at home. It's your stadium. You playing against the Houston Texans. They come to your house. Like A. Wright used to say, Anthony Wright used to always say they coming to your house in your backyard, trying to go in your refrigerator in your kitchen. What you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like they basically came in your damn house butt ass naked, slept in your bed with your girl, opened your refrigerator and ate your food, and
That's
then went home at your house. That's the type of ass whipping we took.
and the thing is, I knew that these guys were gonna be a little bit amped up because of what we did to them in their house on Christmas last year.
Yeah,
You know, at least we scored more than 2 points.
right.
But I mean, the offense was horrible today. 3 interceptions plus the fumble, so there was 4 turnovers on offense. Look, Derrick Henry got into the end zone on a goal line dive, so that was nice to see them get Henry back in the end zone.
Yeah,
But you're giving up. It doesn't matter what they were doing out there.
no,
They had no pass rush. They couldn't stop chunk runs. They're letting everything get caught in front of them. You've talked about this, that the defense they're playing just isn't working, and it's so frustrating because it seems like the players are taking on the body language of the coaches. Everybody's like in the in the dumps, like they're feeling bad for themselves. Like, what are we doing here? You know, you got they're too busy on the TV showing Lamar and Kyle Hamilton in street clothes. Like, come on, guys! Like, focus on what's going on the field. It's frustrating because this is going to be the same team that trots out there next Sunday at the bank, Daniel,
hmm.
and you're going to be there in person to see it.
Damn, don't remind me.
I mean, it's. Kenny just said it best. The bank was empty by halftime.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen that the fans leave Baltimore Stadium like that.
Yeah. There's people that are posting videos on Facebook and Instagram where there's droves of fans leaving in the beginning of the third quarter. It's like they stayed for the concert at halftime and they just started leaving. What do you do? How do you like? That is the ultimate sign of the fan base giving up when they spend their hard-earned money and they don't even stick around for the whole game. You got guys like Trippy that stand outside the stadium for 3 hours to yell at everybody.
Yeah,
And then you got the complete opposite where people literally are saying at halftime, like, F this, I'm going home.
yeah, it was bad.
Something's got to be done. I- if you're the general manager, Wilcox, if you're
Yeah.
the GM, what do you do mid-season to get these guys focused again?
It ain't the GM job to do that. Hell, the only thing you
Or the head
can
coach?
only thing you can do is fire the head coach. Like I hope that gets your attention. If I'm gonna fire his ass, your ass could be next. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all you really can do if you're the GM. Like, hell, some heads got to roll. You got to figure out who needs to be fired. I mean, right now you can fire the head coach, you can fire the OC and the DC right now, easy.
Yeah, Kenny, don't do that. you're serving Baltimore City as a firefighter. That's I don't want to pick
What
you
did
up
he
and
say?
throw you.
I saw him say something about Mike Green jumping in coverage or something.
If
If
Mike Green
Mike
drops
Green
in,
jumps in coverage one more time, I'm going to the castle, and Matt, I'll be under your supervision. I mean, he coming to the jail.
it
That man
it's
said he going
like
to jail.
we're at like laughing to stop the crying at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
how and then like there's just so much audacity with this man. Like he really is operating under the assumption that his buddy won't fire him.
I mean, he is really good friends with Eric, though. I mean, I've
They're
seen them.
they're next door
They. I
neighbors.
was about to say, yeah, they next door neighbors and everything. So, I mean, that kind of works in his favor, to an extent, But at the end of the day, Eric got a job to do.
Yeah.
Eric's a very sharp guy. He's very sharp. He's very smart, very intelligent. He's hearing and seeing everything that's going on, and it's embarrassing, man. And nobody wants to be a part of this. And he just took over the helm from Ozzy, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job as far as recruiting and bringing guys in. We're slacking in areas that, to me, that we shouldn't be slacking in either, like on the O line and the D line. We've never been slacking there. Defensively, this is the worst defensive output I think I've ever seen in a Baltimore Ravens uniform, and we have to do better than that, man. I don't, like I said, I don't know if it's all coaching, or if it's all personnel or whatever. But right now, normally this personnel is stacked, and every kid on this team is being highly sought after by another team.
Yeah. Um, I want to
I'm
now.
sure this
This
is
is
Harbaugh's culture at this point. Yep.
do, being as though that you have seen Harbaugh in two different phases of your football life.
Hmm.
One being a player and one being in the front office. Do you feel that his message is being lost amongst these guys?
Um, I don't know, Matt. Like, as I watch this thing and I watch how everything kind of unveils, I'm not 100% sure what Harbaugh is doing at this point. Because first of all, I love the fact that he hired Zach Orr. I felt like he was a former player. You give him a young guy a chance, an opportunity to do something. When I look back at it right now, I don't know if it was the best hire. Did he give the right guy a chance, or did he give the wrong guy a chance? Did he do it on purpose? Did he not know this kid wasn't ready? Like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Like, sometimes this type of stuff happens just to show you, like, hey, they're not that smart. They can't do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So it's one of those things for me when I sit back and I watch this whole situation, and I'm baffled. I'm kind of blown away at, like, who got hired or who didn't get hired. Like, why not bring a Ed Reed in? Why not bring a Ray Lewis in? Like, why not bring one of those type of guys in that may be truly interested in coaching for real? But I know one thing, for me being a coach, there's coaches that can actually relate to the players, and there's coaches that have no way in hell they'll ever relate to a player. And even sometimes there was some old ass coaches in the league when I got in the league and been around for a long time. It did not matter because they still was very relatable to the players. So it's like, when you can't relate to the players ain't feeling you at all. They don't want to play for you. They don't even want to come to work, and you don't ever want to be in that situation. I've been on a team where we lost games, and it started off like this, and it's not a good vibe, bro. The energy is all off. It's thrown off, and then you start to kind of question everything that everybody's saying, and you're not sure who's for you or who's against you. What I can remember is also, Matt, one of the worst feelings it was as a player for us to go get out coached, and the coaches point the finger at all the players instead of pointing the finger at the coaching staff. I remember that feeling too, and I felt like for the last 2 seasons, I've been saying, bro, this was a coaching. We lost this game due to coaching. This was a coaching game. When I look at this, the kids play. These guys played their asses off, and they lost this game. That first game of the year against Buffalo, played their asses off, and they lost that game. It was all coaching, nothing else. All coaching. And I said it then. I'm gonna say it now. I remember being in locker rooms knowing that it was coach's fault that we lost the game, and they cursing us out, talking to us like we shit, and then they not taking the credit for the shit they did wrong. and that's not a good feeling either as a player.
Yeah, it's almost like it's an arrogance and an ego thing. Like they won't allow
True.
themselves to be humbled enough to take the blame for any of this. You see, like there should be nobody on that sideline right now laughing
Mhm.
and joking and goofing off.
Yeah.
And you saw it today when sometimes the cameras cut to it and guys are over there joking and laughing and not paying attention. And it's
Yeah.
like you're 1-4 and
Huh.
you got some absolute dogs coming to the bank on Sunday. So you got your ass handed to you for the third week in a row. You've been beaten like a mule the last 3 weeks. Right now, Daniel, I'm sitting here wondering how we beat Cleveland.
I mean, I'm not.
I am.
I'm not. I mean, we got some of the best players in the absolute world on this team. They're just not playing right now.
See, other people saw what I was saying. These guys are laughing and joking, and they're not locked into the game, and it's just like
Mhm.
now majority of everybody that was on the injury report today, Awuzie, Stanley, Ricard, Lamar, um, Kyle Hamilton. In 2 weeks, when it hits the bye, they're all going to be back at practice.
Yeah, but you also don't know what these guys was laughing about. So it's like you don't know what that conversation was, or you don't know what they was talking about when,
You're
they
right,
was on
and
the
that's fair.
sideline laughing.
That's fair.
They could be having the same conversations that we're having right now, and they laughing that shit off like, bro, this shit fucking sucks. What the fuck are we doing right now?
Right,
Like
and
this
and
is
and that's
like
very well could be true.
yeah, they could be talking about what the fans are thinking right now. They could be thinking about, man, I hope Harbaugh fucking listen to us now. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that bitch better listen. You never know.
Yeah,
You don't
I
know what
mean,
that
there's no
conversation
context to
was.
it. It was a quick camera cut, and they cut away,
Correct.
and
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 you never know what it is. So you like it's hard. It's easy to jump to conclusions because like, what the
yeah,
fuck they got to laugh? I'm mad as hell right now. They
right,
probably thinking the same shit.
and they're standing there watching it.
Yeah, they
That's
sitting on the
very true.
sideline watching it, bro, and they probably sick to their stomach just like we sick to our stomach. Like it does not feel good to be 1-4, especially if you got that Raven head on your uniform.
If it's the statute and the expectation of what it is to be a Raven,
Mhm.
and what to expect as a Ravens fan from this team. Daniel, we've won more games than we've lost. We have 2 Super Bowls in our trophy case up at the castle.
True.
And there's a standard, and it's crazy because
It is.
you've lived it from both sides. For the longest time, we expected our defense to play at the same caliber that Ray and Ed had them guys playing at. There's a couple positions that the Ravens have always had good play from:
Right.
middle linebacker, free safety, pass rusher, tight end. You're one of the guys that's in a long list of really good tight ends that we've had on this football team,
Thank you,
and
Matt. You're
and
such,
it's
you're
but
such a
like,
nice guy.
look, I mean, it's true. Don't discredit yourself, you
Thank
know.
you. I
But I
appreciate you.
mean, you played in the Todd Heap era at
I
tight
did.
end,
I did.
and after Todd Heap, it was Dennis Pitta, and then immediately after Dennis Pitta, it was Mark Andrews, and before Todd Heap, it was Shannon Sharp and Ben
Yeah.
Coates. We
Mhm.
had dogs in this position for 30 years. So when we have less than stellar tight end play from somebody that's considered a dog, we're going to be mad.
Yeah. Are you referring to Mark Andrews right now?
I'm referring to Mark Andrews right now.
Well, don't do that. Mark Andrews is a phenomenal tight end.
I
He's been a phenomenal tight end for a long time for the Baltimore Ravens. All right. So just because he dropped the ball last year in a fumble, all right, there's no need to throw shots in Mark Andrews, especially when you have Falele out there.
That's true. But see, that pisses me off. Right guard, right, the offensive line.
Right.
The Ravens have had a notorious run where they had great offensive lines. We
Yeah.
had
It's
Jamal
came
Lewis.
to it's
J- J-
coming to an end.
right, Jamal Lewis doesn't run for 2,000 behind a shitty offensive line.
But you ain't never lied.
Ray Rice doesn't have 1,600 all-purpose yards in his heyday with a
Yeah,
bad offensive line. Derrick Henry doesn't run for 2,000 yards without a bad offensive line.
true.
And now you got all this shit going on, and instead of addressing it, they went and signed the kid Kenyon Green. He's probably going to be activated next week. but you got the worst rated left guard in football according to the PFF grades, and
Hmm.
you got Daniel Falele who's blocking his own guy more times than he's blocking them.
But he's
For
the highest grade though.
but he's the highest grade
He's the highest
to the
grade.
nerds, yeah, to the nerds over at that website.
Maybe it's somebody in the front office of the Ravens actually listen to PFF.
See, you got love.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate you, brother.
You, you know,
Yeah.
it's
Throw
but the
that
thing
shit to
is,
Wilcox. I'm gonna go get it. Let's go.
you're gonna go get it. But and the thing is, you had 6'6" rocket arm thrown to you your last year here, and
True. True. I
he's.
would love to play with Lamar though. I mean,
I'm sure.
Flacco is phenomenal, and I don't ever take nothing away from Flacco. But I would love to play with Lamar. I never got a chance to play with a quarterback like Lamar my entire career. So
You would
it's
have had
just
to play 10 more years to get to Lamar.
I know. But I'm saying like even like I had a quarterback in high school that was really decent, but he was younger than me, so he wasn't his best yet. You know what I mean? So I didn't get a chance to play with him at his best. And then just to think like, what is this going on? Just to think like in college, I never had that either. Daniel Jeremiah, the NFL insider, he was the Raven scout. He was my
Mhm,
quarterback at App State.
mhm.
And Daniel was phenomenal. He was shifty, he could run, he could throw it, he extended plays. He was a phenomenal quarterback, man. His biggest strength wasn't throwing the ball, but he could throw it. And he was smart. He's an intelligent guy. So then when I got to the league, I just never had a quarterback. I never got a chance to play with a quarterback. Like, the closest thing I had was Steve McNair my entire life.
And you got Steve McNair well at the end of a
Yeah.
Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, Steve was walking out the door. He
Yeah,
felt like he
Steve.
got drafted all over again when he got to Baltimore. So he had one burst. He had 1 year with a burst of energy, and then he got hurt the next year, and it was downhill from there.
Yep. That's it almost feels like this is it, even though the Lamar injury isn't season ending, we
Yeah,
could be in a position where we're 1-5 and these guys they look at the bye like we're coming back to this 4 games down in the division. You
yeah.
know, it's it's rough. And this comment right here is another factual statement, Wilcox.
No
It
words about
it
7-7 is hurting Rosengard.
it really is because
It is.
Rosengarten had a phenomenal year last year.
He did. He
But
did.
to be fair, Falele was playing next to him.
Yeah.
And but also we had Pat McCary at left
Hmm.
guard. So like you said, you need 4 offensive linemen that are good. And last
Hey,
year we had 4
you
offensive
got
linemen
you
that
can
were
hire one. You can hire
y-
one.
they hit Falele last year.
You can't hire two.
You can't hide right, especially interior guys. You can't hide
Uh,
them.
in any position, I don't care what
Yeah.
position it is on the field. You can hire one, but you can't hire two. You
And
know.
and that's factual information. Like it's easy to hide Falele when you got Stanley,
Hmm.
McCary, Linderbaum, and Rosengarten, and you got a healthy Pat Ricard, and
Yep.
you got a Ravens offense that is showcasing Lamar and Henry for the first time. We're
Hmm.
we're now talking about this a year later, where every defensive coordinator had a chance to dissect the 2024 Ravens film.
He won't move his feet. That's what I see.
Yeah,
When I watch Falele, he will not. He refuses. Absolutely refuses. He's a hard-headed ass child I've ever seen in my life. He refuses to move his feet. If you don't come directly to him, he refuses to move his feet to go get you. And if he has to go get you, he don't know who to go get. It's like he's a fish out of water and he has no clue what he's doing. Like, he does not look intelligent on the football field at all. I don't know what's going on. He's a massive man, a huge man. And if you just probably ran outside, inside zone, he would probably maul some people. He just don't get it. Like, it looked like he's like filleting out there, flailing around, filleting,
yeah.
filleting around. I don't know what you want
When
to
your
call it.
name turns into a verb, it's
Yeah,
awful.
he's man. You're filleting around there, bro. Like, what are
Y-
you doing?
and you mentioned how big this dude is. Six
Yeah.
eight, 360, 350. We've had multiple people that have been that big.
Hmm.
Jo was that big.
Hmm.
And Jo can move like a featherweight.
Yeah, he was 6'10".
Yeah, and Zeus, you played next to
Yeah,
Zeus for
yeah.
years.
Zeus was 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah.
Yeah.
You played next to Pashos.
Yep. Tony.
Yeah, you I mean, you played next to, some absolute
Massive
mountain
guys.
of massive dudes, and it's like obviously the footwork's not there. If everybody, if people have never played college football, let alone NFL football, are like
Yeah.
this dude isn't moving his feet, you're in the way.
Right.
You'd be benched in high school, and you're doing this at the NFL level.
He
You
should be
can't.
benched in the NFL. I'm telling you, I've seen guys get fired for way worse. I mean, way less. I've seen guys get fired in the NFL. So just to see him doing it as long as he's doing it week in and week out is crazy to me. I need to get some game film.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You know, Harbs has his guys.
He said we
Uh,
so ass, fellas.
that's my homeboy. I work with him. He our group chat was going crazy earlier
Yeah.
during the game.
It's funny because he spelled ass the same way you spell it.
Yeah. You know,
Matt texts me like, "Oh my god, we look like ass." It's crazy.
Chad Johnson calls him the fish.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is, bro. He's not
Yeah.
touching nobody, bro. He just he fillet laying around out there. Damn flounder.
That's a good word to describe it. He's the hardball experiment, and it's failing spectacularly right now. It's bad, man. I really don't like watching the Cooper Rush led offense today. I don't have a good feeling about it, and we're gonna have to sit through this
I mean,
again
who
next week.
would? When we signed Cooper Rush, I was like, what the hell are we signing him for?
Yeah,
You know, I remember we broke a record. Or we made history. We had an all black QB room one year. The next year it was all white. What the hell going on? Except Lamar. And Lamar is the blackest black guy you can have in there. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't know what you're saying.
gold grill, diamond teeth, the whole 9 yards. Like, braids, dreads, whatever. He's about the blackest quarterback you can have in there. And then you got Cooper Rush in there. Like, what are they communicating about?
Not a damn
Cooper.
thing.
What are they talking about? They going out tonight? Cooper Rush and Lamar?
Hell no.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You
Hell
gotta think. You
no.
gotta really put thought into this shit, bro. When you make these decisions, like when Snoop was there and Lamar was there, those guys probably hung all the freaking time, hung out, kicked it, whatever. I don't see Cooper like, hey Lamar, let's go grab a bite to eat tonight, bro.
Man, we got Texans fans in the comments now.
I don't blame them.
That's crazy.
They did owe us an ass whipping because we did beat that
They
ass
did.
last year. Yeah.
See, Des,
Cooper
you had to
Rush.
go ahead and do it. You had to. I'm
Cooper
getting
Rush.
that off.
They call no, that's Copper Rush. He said Copper.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Rams gonna give us a Curtis Jackson.
50. He's gonna give us a.
Yeah.
This is gonna be bad.
No, it's about to be bad for real.
Me
too. I would have took Tyrod Taylor too. Tyrod Taylor is a really good guy. You know, I got a chance to work with Tyrod here in Atlanta a little bit for a while. And he's phenomenal, man. I think he's just, to me, that's what a real backup quarterback kind of feels like. He's very mannerable, just good guy, good temperament. He's not going to ruffle any feathers. He's not going to be sitting there saying, I should be the starter. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going to give you the knowledge that he has. He's smart. He's intelligent. I think he's a heck of a backup. He would have been a great guy for us to have or to steal in here for a backup.
This right here is pitiful. They were the 25th ranked offense. They had almost 500 yards of total yards from scrimmage and hung 44 on us.
Yeah, I mean, we got the best defense in the league as far as giving up points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just handed everybody 35.
See how I spent that?
You had me in the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, we got the best defense in the league as far as giving up points.
Yeah, you had me in the first half.
For sure.
I shouldn't be joking about this shit. Like,
hey, man, Matt, that's what the boys on the sideline talking about.
There ain't no way.
They got to the point. They're like, bro, shit, we don't know what we doing. They don't know what we doing. Shit, that's the beauty of the whole thing.
Mike McDonald's probably over in Seattle laughing at us right now.
Yeah, he's like, "Whoo, I'm glad I dodged that bullet."
Somebody
probably asked him personally, like one-on-one, Mike, why would you leave Baltimore? You had a sweet gig there. Why would you take the job at Seattle? Mike really probably knew why he took that job. Yeah. And he probably told them people the truth. Like his people that he know, they know the real truth why he left Baltimore.
Of course they do.
And it wasn't because of the Seattle job. It always rains in Seattle.
And he's still out there having a ball in a raincoat. You know what I'm saying? Like
balling ass, raincoat. He said, let me grab him a couple of raincoats before it gets rainy in Baltimore. He knew he missed out on the Super Bowl here too.
He was balling today. Good God Almighty.
Yeah.
He had 4 incomplete passes today.
Yeah,
CJ
man.
Stroud.
I mean,
CJ Stroud was 23 for 27.
when the DBs are not covering your wide receivers, I mean, what did you expect?
Dog, I was mad. I was looking at they were playing 11 yards off the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
All
I'm
year long, Matt. Cover
I'm
4, cover 3.
my fat ass could have had a couple first downs out there.
No, Matt.
Yeah,
That wasn't gonna happen.
it was.
Yeah, I want to give you that, but that ain't gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
I'm not going to allow you to say that on national, like right now, live like this, like that. No,
I'm standing on that. I don't care what you say.
Matt, you would not have got a first down, bro.
I might have called the ball.
I don't think you would have called it, Matt. They
They
would have taken it personal just because you lined up out there. They would have tried to.
being
No,
33 feet
bro.
away from me, I'd at least called it.
No, they wouldn't have been 33
I
feet
got
away from
hands,
you.
man. I got hands.
They probably would have been because the coaching would have told them to stand back and
Yeah.
let you catch it. Let them
I
catch
would
it
have
and come up and tackle
probably
them.
ran by Harbaugh for a first down. This shit's crazy, man.
No, it is, man. It's bad, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's bad. I mean, this is not indicative of what this program is and what this team should be right now. And something got to change. I don't know what that is, but something got to change. And I'm sure something's gonna happen soon. Well, let's just kind of wait around and see.
Yeah. There, like I don't even see a positive from the game today. Loop missed a 55-yard field goal. The offense didn't even have 250 yards of total offense.
Yeah.
We didn't have any. We had one good drive, and that was the first drive of the game, and it kind of just fizzled after that for the fourth week in a row. The Rams scare me right now. This is
They should. Them boys are balling.
the running backs balling, Puka and Devontae.
Yep.
And Higbee and
Stafford. Yeah, they got a pretty decent quarterback.
Yeah, Matt Stafford. He's a hell of a quarterback.
He's a pretty decent guy.
And they got that pass rusher they got over at Jared Verse. If he plays Note Boom next week, it's gonna be bad.
I wonder who they got over for Laley. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Because he's gonna block Linderbaum before he blocks the guy in front of him.
In Rosengarten. Bro, you messing up my stats.
It's
Shit.
Nobody even on the defense today shined.
No, I mean I don't know if anybody did at all. I remember what we had though. I had Kyle Van Noy as my defensive player of the game and Henry as my offensive player.
He had a sack. Van Noy had a sack.
Saw that. He had a sack and the pressure. He almost had 2 sacks. And then you had Keaton Mitchell, offense. Keaton played well.
I want you to read this right here.
Mike Green. Wilcox Mack would have Earl and fought his ass over the trenches. I've seen it.
I played 37U for a couple years.
Did you really, Matt?
I did.
You used to throw up a lot?
I used to throw up before every game. That ass serious. Even from the time I was 8 years old until the time I stopped playing 37U, it was just a thing I did.
Look done to my Rams lost to Mac Jones. That don't mean shit this week. Mac Jones team didn't give up 40 points a game.
They didn't.
No.
But there's really not much to say. I'm gonna take it home, man. This has been a hell of a start to the season. The Ravens are currently sitting at 1-4, third in the AFC North, with only the Browns trailing. Luckily, Pittsburgh didn't play this week. They had a bye, so we're still sitting there. The Bengals lost today, I believe. I think the Bengals lost. Yeah, so that helps us. Yeah. We suck. We're a bad football team right now. There's no other way to say it. Right now, I'm not saying overall for the whole year, but right now we suck.
I don't know what to say right now, so I'm just gonna keep it to myself. But I know one thing: this is not who we are. I want to see this thing turn around and get better. I think we still can do it. Usually when this type of stuff happens, Matt, there's some indecision or some things going on inside the locker room that just kind of make you scratch your head, and you don't know what those things are. So I don't know if it's players versus players or player versus coaches, but something's not right now.
Yeah,
I would like to figure out what that is and see where that goes and go from there.
Hopefully my phone lights up. Ravens fired John Harbaugh and named Chuck Pagano interim head coach.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately.
It's not. I'm going to play Madden tomorrow and fire John Harbaugh just to get it out of my system.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wish I don't wish bad on anybody, right? So in this situation, you got to treat the coaches the same way you would treat the players. That's all I can say. You got
That
to you got to evaluate your coaching staff just like you're evaluating your players. And when you evaluate your coaching staff, you have to figure out whether or not they're hurting you or they're helping you. If they're not helping you, then they got to go.
you
If they
you and
help
I have
you,
been clearly
you keep
outlining
them.
that for a long time that the coaches aren't doing shit to help this team right now,
Hmm.
and we shouldn't be this bad. I understand injuries are really kicking our ass right now, but we shouldn't be this bad.
Yeah.
Um, I was expecting 4-2 or 3-3 at the bye, and we have a very special comment.
Mm. There's a young lady on here by the name of Shauna Wilcox, and she said Harbaugh sucks, not the team.
That's
For some
boss
reason, I feel like she probably knows exactly what she's talking about.
lady. That's boss lady right there. That's boss lady.
Hey, Matt. Hey, when the missus started talking stuff, bro, you got to really start listening,
Especially
right?
on a live
On
telecast.
live telecast.
Oh man.
It's been a long night, bro, and we've had a ton of comments roll in tonight, and it's been pretty entertaining just watching the different comments that we've had all night long, and it sounds like everybody on the same wavelength. People are not happy with Harbaugh right now, and I think it's coming to a boiling point. And I've never seen a coach get booed in Baltimore before. I think Harbaugh may be the first one, and I don't know if they was booing him during the game, but what I saw the clip I saw was after the game, him walking into the locker room off the field, and they was booing him right to his face. Telling him that he sucked.
He
And
deserves that shit.
I mean, damn, Matt.
Look, when you go next week, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you what the vibe is.
All right, I'm gonna let you know. 100. I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah, because I mean, now are you going and sitting? Are you gonna be on the field and let just in case anybody goes to the game next week? Tickets might be $7.
No, I doubt that. They're gonna still run them things up.
They were
Um,
available today for $45.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm going. I don't know if I'm gonna be down on the field at all this week. When I go next week, but maybe I don't know. We'll see. If I
Oh,
get down on the field, I'll definitely let you know how it feels. I like to go down on the field before the game a lot, just to kind of see if I can hear any conversations
hmm
or feel the energy from the players or seeing how they warm up or anything like that prior to the game. So it's kind of weird. You know, it's kind of weird to not be down there. So I would love to be down there to kind of get a vibe for it. Last couple times I went, I was down on the sideline pregame. But I'll sit kind of inside and outside
hmm
of the stadium because I like to hear the fans talk sometimes too, and I like to feel the energy of the stadium as well. So I'll see. I want to try out the new area they have down by the end zone though.
That'd be nice. Get a
Yeah,
little tour of that.
yeah, I would like to
Um,
see that.
yeah, they got a up close and personal view of the Texans scoring 6 touchdowns today.
But that's ridiculous.
It is, but just don't tell them to watch the show because I talk shit about all of them.
Well, Matt, these guys. I think they're probably watching Marlon show a little bit more than ours right now, but it's okay.
Man, don't even get me started on that shit, dog.
Eventually,
Fucking
eventually they'll roll over to us, man. We just got to continue to build a show and build a brand, man, and continue to be who we are. And I think the fan base will continue to grow. And you never know, man. Maybe we'll start getting some players to watch it, and maybe we'll say something that'll catch their attention at some point.
I,
Talking shit about players isn't something that's gonna really grab them, make them want to watch. But at the same time, hopefully we can say something that'll inspire them to be better versions of themselves as well.
if I
You
see
know?
another Marlon Humphrey podcast this week, it,
Oh, it's
it,
coming, man. Oh,
man,
it's coming.
I'm anticipating it because
Actually, right now, if you go to your ex, he's live
no, he's
on
not.
X.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not. You can't operate social media half the time anyway. No, he's not.
Bro, I'm telling you, that man live right now.
Oh man, that'll do it, folks. You can find me on Facebook. Just type in my name on X at mtrigwbp. mtrig89 on Instagram. And Wilcox, where can people find you?
You can find me on X at Coach Wilcox, and you can find me on IG at Daniel.Wilcox on IG. Feel free to send us a request, and we'll follow back if possible.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget to like and subscribe. We Bleed Purple Podcast on YouTube.
Turn the notifications on for when we go live. We'll be
for sure.
We'll be back this week to preview the Rams show. Never know who might be stopping by the studio. And that's a wrap.
Thanks for having us, guys.